In the headlines for this hour on VTV News, seafood export businesses explore new markets. Vietnam's e-commerce market showed robust growth. In our war news, SIEM REAP-ANGKOR summit commits to My Free World.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello, it's 3 p.m. local time in Hanoi and you're watching VTV News. On Saturday morning, the National Assembly discussed and provided feedback on the draft law for Vietnam digital technology industries. More to follow.
While agreeing that the law is necessary, some National Assembly deputies proposed creating a legal framework for digital assets. Currently, about 20 million Vietnamese people own digital assets, and Vietnamese citizens trade around $12 billion in cryptocurrencies annually.
Digital assets require careful classification for proper management. Cryptocurrencies, for example, should have separate regulations from other digital or virtual assets. Additionally, the draft law lacks clear guidelines on the responsibilities of digital service providers, which are crucial for enhancing consumer protection.
For a healthy digital economy, digital transactions must be grounded in legal regulations. While this law defines digital assets, it does not include a definition for digital money. Therefore, I suggest that the concept of digital money be incorporated for proper management.
Several deputies emphasize that the law should not only regulate behavior but also guide development. This makes it essential to clearly define the scope of the digital technology industry.
The draft law's definition of the digital technology industry includes information technology, new digital technologies, and other digital technologies, which may cause overlap with other laws. The drafting agency should provide a clearer definition of digital technology and specify how it relates to information and high technology.
The National Assembly also passed the resolution on establishing Hue City under the central government and the resolution on the organization of urban government in Hai Phong City.
Vietnam's electricity demand is rising with a projected need of 70 gigawatts by 2030. Developing nuclear power will diversify energy sources, ensure security, reduce emissions, and strengthen human resources and technological capabilities.
Calculations show that if Vietnam's GDP grows by 10%, electricity demand must rise by 15%. With rapid digital transformation, electricity demand could increase by 15 to 20%.
Data infrastructure is costly and requires significant electricity. AI computing centers are also expensive and consume large amounts of power. A super-large data center can use hundreds of megawatts, and in Malaysia, data centers are being built with capacities up to 500 megawatts. For such centers consume the equivalent energy of an entire Hoa Binh hydroelectric plant.
Smart factories, farms, and cities, along with technologies like AI, IoT, and quantum computing, require a large, clean energy source for sustainable development.
Restarting the Ninh Thuan nuclear power plant and advancing the nuclear power program is a vital policy for energy security, sustainable development, and achieving net zero emissions by 2050.
In 2009, the National Assembly approved the Ninh Thuan nuclear power project, but in 2016, it was halted. For over 8 years, Ninh Thuan province has maintained the project's construction items in their original state.
People in the project area and voters in Ninh Thuan fully support and trust the decisions, policies, and leadership of the party.
With rising electricity demand, continuing the Ninh Thuan nuclear power project is crucial for providing a stable and sustainable green energy source.
In October 2024, Vietnam's seafood export turnover reached $1.1 billion, marking a nearly 31% increase compared to the same period last year. This milestone marked a return to peak performance after a two-year recovery period. Businesses are optimistic that year-end demand will provide a significant boost to exports. Meanwhile, the seafood industry continued to focus on enhancing quality and capitalizing on opportunities in emerging markets.
A company specializing in sushi squid exports to Japan faces raw material sourcing challenges due to exploitation certification issues. While maintaining about 80% of production capacity, the company seeks solutions to expand operations, diversify markets, and ensure sustainable development.
We hope that in the near future, obstacles will be removed to enable businesses to access domestic raw materials, improving production conditions. The company plans to expand operations by utilizing an additional 20% of its area and capacity to produce farmed seafood, targeting exports to select markets in the Middle East and Asia.
Vietnam's numerous free trade agreements with major markets like China and the U.S. create favorable conditions for seafood exports. Alongside business efforts, industry and trade sectors are tracking market trends and providing export data to help businesses capitalize on new generation FTAs.
Besides traditional markets like Europe, the US, and Japan, our company has expanded into the Middle East, India, and Southeast Asia.
Recognizing the critical need for information among businesses, the Department of Industry and Trade has provided support by organizing conferences to share updates on import-export activities, particularly focusing on new generation trade agreements.
Businesses report that the strong recovery of major markets like the US, Europe, and China has driven an increase in export orders. The upcoming months are expected to be a peak period as importers ramp up purchases to prepare for the holidays, providing significant opportunities for the seafood sector to boost exports.
According to Ha Long International Cruise Port, 60 cruise ships have registered to dock in Quảng Ninh next year, bringing an estimated 90,000 tourists. These vessels will arrive from England, France, Germany, the United States, and China. Tourist arrivals from cruise lines are expected to increase by 30% compared to this year. Quảng Ninh currently holds the distinctions of being Vietnam's only locality with a specialized international cruise port capable of accommodating multiple large cruise ships at the same time. Vietnam's e-commerce revenue this year is expected to reach $22 billion, accounting for nearly 60% of digital economic transactions, making Vietnam the third largest e-commerce market in Southeast Asia. The Ministry of Industry and Trade has set next year goals for e-commerce to account for 70% of digital economic revenue and 50% of cashless payments. Shopee, TikTok Shop, Lazada, and Tiki are major e-commerce platforms in Vietnam, with top-selling products being fashion, food, cosmetic, and electronics. The positive changes in state management, business operations, and consumer habits mark a significant step forward in Vietnam's digital transformation and e-commerce development. Vietnam Online Shopping Day Online Friday 2024 launched Friday night at the Children's Palace in Hoàn Kiếm District, Hanoi. The event runs until Sunday, featuring a 60-hour online shopping event across Vietnam's e-commerce and digital platforms with discount codes and promotional programs from leading businesses. This annual event, held since 2014, stands as one of the key initiatives promoting e-commerce development. Coming up next on VTV News, Lai Châu boosts housing support for disadvantaged families. And Hanoi Culinary Culture Festival 2024 opens. In recent years, Lai Châu province has made significant efforts to help poor households secure stable housing. Local authorities have aided numerous families in eliminating temporary and dilapidated homes. These initiatives are not only improving living conditions, but also fostering sustainable poverty reduction and ensuring social welfare.
Law's family is one of 90 households in Tam Duong district that received support this year to replace their temporary houses. They received a financial grant of $2,000. After 2 months, a house with sturdy walls and a durable roof was ready, fulfilling the family of 6 long-held dream of a stable residence.
This new house is much more secure and comfortable than our previous one. We sleep peacefully now and worry much less.
Across Tam Duong district, multiple initiatives have been launched to help families replace temporary and dilapidated housing.
This year alone, the Red Cross facilitated the construction of 14 Great Solidarity homes for families in need. Providing housing support helps poor households focus on work, develop their economy, and eventually rise out of poverty. This contributes to the district's sustainable growth.
Authorities are collaborating with provincial leaders to construct durable homes that meet safety and quality standards. We aim to provide not just housing but also a foundation for families to overcome hardship and thrive.
Currently, more than 240 households in Tam Duong still live in inadequate conditions. Local authorities have pledged to eliminate all temporary and dilapidated homes by the end of next year.
Women continue to play a vital role in economic development. Many women-owned cooperatives and businesses have proven to be economically effective, creating jobs for local communities. Over the years, with support from women unions at various levels, numerous women-led entrepreneurship initiatives have established thriving cooperatives. Here's one such success story from Hanam province.
Using modern machinery, this facility steams batter into thin sheets, cuts them, and dries them into noodles. What started as a small manual operation has grown into a dry noodle production plant that produces 2 tons of products daily. The cooperative now also serves both the domestic market and fulfills export orders to Europe and Japan, providing stable employment for 35 female workers.
With support and encouragement from the Women's Union at all levels, I expanded the factory to 1,000 square meters and invested in modern coating machines and drying ovens to meet export demands.
Chien transformed over 5 hectares of former rice fields in Tan Lim district into a flourishing guava farm. With assistance from the Women's Union and the Commune People's Committee, her switch to guava cultivation has yielded high-quality, year-round harvests.
The new guava variety produces fruit year-round, and the trees are nourished with manure from local farms, ensuring sustainable growth for both the trees and the soil.
Over the past 2 years, the Women's Union of Hanam Province has assisted in establishing 8 new cooperatives and supported the operations of 32 women-managed cooperatives. Numerous training and capacity-building programs for women have been implemented locally.
We conducted a study of the needs of cooperatives, identifying the gaps and requirements of female leaders to design training and capacity-building programs that are closely aligned with real-world needs.
The Women's Creative Startup Green Transformation Contest in 2024, organized by the Vietnam Women's Union, achieved a milestone with cooperatives and cooperative groups leading over 33% of participating projects, the highest proportion among all categories. These initiatives are strengthening women's economic power while creating lasting positive impacts for communities and society.
Hoi An City in Quảng Nam is known as the kumquat capitals of central Vietnam, producing between 65,000 and 100,000 trees annually. This traditional craft serves as a primary income source for thousands of farmers, especially during the Lunar New Year season. However, both local farmers and authorities recognize the need for more sustainable development strategies.
Although the Lunar New Year is still 2 months away, this farmer's kumquat garden has already attracted traders who are willing to place early deposits. With favorable weather and increased market demand, he estimates his 500 kumquat trees could yield profits of several thousand USD.
Kumquat farming is the signature craft of farmers in Cam Ha Commune and Hoi An City. It is a vital economic driver for the area.
For kumquat growers in Hoi An, true financial security only arrives when payment is received. The farmers face constant uncertainty. Either abundant harvests bring low prices or high prices coincide with poor yields. This traditional craft's sustainability depends not only on unpredictable weather but also on volatile market conditions.
If the market price is stable, this traditional craft can thrive. But when demand slows, we face difficulties. This year, the market is a bit sluggish, so we may limit our planting next year.
To address these challenges, local authorities and agricultural experts are advocating for organic kumquat cultivation. Last year, farmers experimented with over 5 tons of organic fertilizers, yielding promising economic gains.
To support intensive decorative kumquat farming, local authorities are promoting organic practices and connecting the craft with tourism and service sectors. They're also encouraging farmers to establish cooperatives that can improve production and distribution efficiency. This strategy aims to both expand cultivation and promote sustainability, helping farmers reduce their dependency on Lunar New Year sales.
Young union members in Sinman District, Hà Giang Province has launched the Dolls in Ethnic Costumes project since early 2023, making unique dolls dressed in traditional Nung and Hmong ethnic costumes. Aimed at preserving cultural identity and promoting local tourism, the project reflects the creativity and passions of Hà Giang youth for their cultural heritage.
These ethnic costumes of the Nung, Hmong, Red Dao, Phu La and La Chi are part of the Dolls with Ethnic Costumes project launched by the Youth Agricultural Cooperative in Sinman District, Hà Giang in March 2023.
Inspired by the spirit of youth, I aim to preserve traditional culture through ethnic costumes and help young people in Sinman District develop economically. That's why I created the Dolls in Ethnic Costumes project.
There's no fixed schedule for making these costumes. I used to make about 10 at a time, but recently I made over 40 sets and earned more than $200.
Over 30 youth union members and 15 artisans from 5 communes are involved in the project, which won first prize in Hà Giang's 2024 Startup Idea Competition.
We mobilize youth union members to create digital agricultural cooperatives, promote product sales on social media, connect artisans, and offer skill and vocational training.
In addition to preserving traditional costumes, young people are also promoting traditional music. This Hmong flute class is part of the Hmong Cultural Instrument Lovers Club, led by Sung Minh Thành.
With the rise of information technology, some young people have lost interest in traditional culture. In response, I founded a club and brought together artisans who truly understand our heritage.
Starting with just over 150 members, Thanks Club now has over 1,000. The club has taken part in many performances, helping attract domestic and international tourists to experience the culture of the Hmong people.
I am getting older, so I want to teach my children and help preserve our cultural identity for the future.
I want to play the flute for my friends and parents and share it with distant friends.
The efforts of Sung Minh Thành, the Sinman District Youth Union, and other young people highlight Hà Giang youth love and responsibility for traditional culture. They preserve ethnic identity, spread pride, and revitalize their homeland's cultural values.
The Vietnam Digital Content Creation Festival 2024 opened Saturday morning in Ho Chi Minh City. The event aims to honor outstanding individuals and organizations in the digital content field. In the interactive area, booths feature engaging mini-games that help visitors learn about social media content creation while enjoying their weekend. At Meta booth, visitors can take photos with iconic symbols and receive digital copies on their phones or printed souvenirs to take home. The festival, also known as Vietnam iContent 2024, run until 10 p.m. Saturday and celebrate individuals and groups with outstanding contributions in the fields of digital content creation while fostering networking and learning opportunities among creators. On Friday night, the Hanoi Culinary Culture Festival 2024 opened with the theme Hanoi Connect 5 Continents. A highlight of the festival is Phở Số Hà Thành, where diners can experience a special bowl of pho prepared and served by smart robots. This year's festival features more than 80 booths arranged in distinct areas. The event celebrates and promotes Hanoi traditional culinary culture while building and leveraging the city's cultures and culinary brand through its unique, high-quality cuisine. The festival will last until Sunday. Coming up next in our World News, SIEM REAP-ANGKOR Summit commits to mine-free world. Restore Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris to reopen after 2019 fire. The SIEM REAP-ANGKOR Summit on a Mine-Free World concluded on Friday in Cambodia. The 5-day-long summit adopted a joint statement with a commitment to peace and safety for all. The 16-point joint statement emphasized an unwavering commitment to rid the world of landmine accidents which kill hundreds of victims weekly, many of them are children. The conference by the Anti-Personnel Mine Ban Convention also highlighted the critical role of deminers who risk their life working in perilous conditions to clear contaminated land and restore safety for humanity. The summit supports Cambodia's goal adjustment from a mine-free world by 2025 to being free from the impact of mines and explosive remnants of war.
Has been clearing minefields in Cambodia since
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has suggested a ceasefire deal with Russia if parts of Ukrainian territory were recognized by the North Atlantic Treaties Organization or NATO. In an interview with Sky News, the Ukrainian president suggested that the hot phase of the Ukraine conflict could end in return for NATO membership, even if seized land isn't returned immediately. He also suggested that a ceasefire deal with Russia could be struck if Ukraine-controlled territories were taken under the NATO umbrella. Kyiv is open to the possibility of regaining the Russian-controlled territories by diplomatic means. For the first time, Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris has offered the world a peek of its restored interior. The landmark cathedral has returned to its former glory 5 years after a devastating fire. Funded by a donation from 150 countries, the restoration project cost 700 million euros. About 2,000 craftspeople participated in the painstaking work, including architects, scaffolders, roofers, bell maker, masons, and organ builder. Notre Dame officials announced that reopening celebration will begin on December 7th. India plans to expand its domestic renewable energy industries are falling short. The solar sector is grappling with inadequate government funding and a skills shortage. More on this in the following story.
The renewable industry faces a skill gap of around 1.2 million, creating a need for 1.7 million skilled workers by 2027, even though at least 2 million jobs would be generated in the renewable energy sector in the next 2 years.
a shortage of skilled manpower remains a major problem.
Since this is a new and evolving technology, and also at the same time the technology keeps on changing at a much faster pace than other technologies. So we have certain issues at hand that not enough skilled people are available.
Industry executives note that companies must increase investment in worker training, which drives up operational costs. Some have called on the government to increase funding for vocational schools and universities to provide hands-on training, ensuring students are job-ready upon graduation.
We need to replace the fossil fuels, and we need to have clean and green energy sources. And this, of course, will require trained personnel. And as far as the projection of the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy is concerned, number of required persons will be in millions during the next 1 or 2 decades. So that's why it is, of course, very nice to have such courses in universities, and all universities should come up and introduce such courses.
Industry executives say India, a major greenhouse gas emitter, must significantly boost funding and training programs in the renewable energy sector to achieve its goal of increasing non-fossil fuel capacity, reaching 500 gigawatts by 2030.
And now, as usual, let's continue with the weather forecast. And that's all the news for today. To rewatch our program, you can log on to VTVgo.vn or download our mobile application VTVgo. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.